Join the team.
Hey team, it's McGuire Review, and today we're going to take a look at a bunch of new mats, as well as tile sets, and as well as their awesome pawn collections that Paizo does across the various, both IPs of Pathfinder and Starfinder. So you'll see here that we're going to do two Starfinder. You can think of these all as kind of, well, not these are pawns, but here these have kind of like maps that your players can play on. Some of them are larger, like this, one piece. The important thing is they all are wet, dry, and permanent marker erase, which is something that's really awesome that Paizo offers. These here are more of actually tiles that you can put out, and this is a really nice way to go as well with your map. It takes a little bit, I think, a little bit more work. You know, on this you just pull it out and you're ready to go. But if you want to put parts of a mat or a map out one piece at a time as they're exploring, this is a really cool option to do that. These are also double-sided. And what's also awesome about these particular ones is the way they're designed will all go with a particular, layout. And they are kind of numbered, and it shows you right there what the back of what everyone, once they're all laid out, will look like. However, you can reuse these again, kind of in a general way, to build other types of environments. These are kind of like building blocks, right? So you can customize and set things up with this particular product. So I do really like these because they have that sort of power of reuse, like maxed out. So those are pretty cool. Take a look at those. So let's do our maps first, and then we'll get into our awesome pawn collector or pawn collection, because I don't believe we haven't done a video yet on the channel with the pawns, and they do make really, really nice ones, and those are really fun to play with. I've always kind of been a miniature person myself, but Paizo makes some really, really cool pawns, and they have a high level of artwork on them, and you get a ton of it for a pretty low price. So these pawns, don't shy away from these. If you want a ton of option of like miniatures on the board, these pawns that they make are amazing for that. Okay, so our flip mats do come in this really cool little folio thing just for some protection. I always do keep this and put it right back in it. I don't just throw this away. I do put them back in, and then I'll put them in like a folder or have them all together. So that's pretty cool that it offers that. And then this is the Space Colony. These are double-sided as well. You'll see here just how awesome this is. High color, lots of stuff on the map. And again, as I should say in all the videos, don't worry about, these are nice and thick. They will kind of have those lines, but after you get it set out on the table, they'll pretty quickly, it'll flatten out because it is so thick. But this is a really cool map. I love the high color, like flowers of some sort that are on this map, and all the different types of things that can be explored on this one. The Space Colony, really cool. So this would be like an area or a planet you would go to, you could use, where there's a colony and there's a lab set up and various different things. So lots you can do with this side of the map here. And then on this other side of the map, which is super cool, also is termed the Space Colony. Kind of represents almost like a moon type environment with the craters and a larger kind of greenhouse type thing here with different types of floral, plants growing in all kinds of different areas where scientific experiments are kind of going on. This looks like a little med bay area over here. So really, really cool map that you can use in Starfinder for a number of different things. Pretty much in any one of your campaigns, you can use this Space Colony map. For a planet you would travel to, you could use this for about anything. So this one's a really awesome one. I love this map. It is specific for the colony environment, so it isn't just a general, hey, you're on this planet. It would be on the planet in kind of a colony type setup, but you're going to get a lot of that stuff as you're playing the game. So you know what? Let's just stick with the Starfinder theme here. We'll go right into this one. Open it up with the old bone shiv of death. All right, excellent. This packaging off. This one's pretty cool because it is Starfinder, but this one does take on somewhat of a ruins type environment. So right on the back, shift through the ruins. And it's double-sided. The front is going to look, more colorful, where the back is going to have more of that traditional kind of ruin-type look. And this is titled Alien Planet Ruins. So that's what you are getting here. Again, this one's a pretty cool one, too. We'll pull that out, make sure we got them all. Yes, we do. Love the packaging on these two, because you can pop all your tiles right back in that little box, and they're not floating all over the place. Kind of like, they are that material, so kind of like to get them loose. Get them loose. So these are all numbered here kind of on the bottom, so you can see exactly which side you're dealing with, as well as the code. So when you're laying them all out together, you can just look at the little code there, and obviously you'll want to go right in order. If you are looking to see exactly what it would look like, you will find it right here on the back, where it will lay out both of those front and back to what that would look like. And again, you can see how easy it would be to kind of customize and create your own environment if you wanted to do that. So pretty cool here with the ruins and the way this looks. And I love the high quality with the purples and the pinks and the yellows and oranges that they have on this, where you generally will see some of these areas, generally ruins, you won't get kind of that high poppy color, which I think is pretty cool they did with these ruins. And then on the other side, it's more of kind of a sepia tone, which is interesting as well if you're traveling to, more of like a Mars-type planet, or a planet that's not inhabited, or it's more desert-based. Then you're going to have something like that. So, potentially this side is a planet you would go to that would be more of an ancient-style planet, where you're discovering what's kind of happened there, and you come upon these ruins. And, maybe this one is more of, a younger planet that you find some ruins on, where there's still a lot of wildlife and plant life. So, you're getting a lot of option here with this particular set. I really like this set. And again, you don't have to just use it as ruins. This could just be an overarching battle map that you could create and customize however you want it to look. Okay? So, that is the Alien Planet Ruins. Really cool set as well. I really recommend this one, to tell you the truth, so far, and looking at kind of everything we've seen so far, because of the reusability of these tiles. It's really just these tiles that I really like. They just have a high level of reusability, and I like the fact that you can put them out one at a time if you wanted to. So beforehand, as a GM, you could kind of pull out the ones that you want and put them in the order that you would want to reveal them, so you're not shuffling around trying to figure out, what's it supposed to look like again? Like, just already have them in the order you want, and just one at a time, reveal them out, or reveal maybe 4 or 5 at a time, so the players have enough room to kind of move around 40, 50 feet or so. And then as they're exploring different areas, you can reveal another one, and maybe there's a combat or something they'll have to deal with. So that's a really cool thing that you can do with these tiles. All right, so let's look at the last one here, which is a Pathfinder. Now, this one is a further build out of something we've already taken a look at on the channel. If you want to see it, we already did it's the Fortress Walls and Towers expansion. So we already did the Fortress, kind of the first one they came out with in the tiles. This one expands that fortress, obviously, to walls and towers. Let's do the initial crack. Oh. Ah! Okay. Loosen it up! Again, double-sided as well. These are going to look the same on both sides for the most part, just your kind of stone fortress and then your grass. But they're going to have different stuff, right? So, like, for instance, you see this side, and then you go to this side, a little bit different. We've got kind of like up in the air with maybe some stairs that go up there. So this is a pretty cool set if you want to do the fortress, the castle. That's what you're going to find here. This is probably going to be less reusable as like something like this. I think this is probably going to be more reusable just across the entire Starfinder universe. This in Pathfinder is going to be specific to building out kind of that castle fortress type environment. If you have a lot of that in the campaign that you're running, then I think you're going to get a ton of reuse of this, or you can pull this out and reuse this every time you send your players to maybe a final location that could have like a larger fortress type thing they need to get in, or possibly there's a lot of locations around this campaign that you have to overtake, like bandit camps. This would be a really good thing to be able to have, to be able to reuse, to go into different bandit camps. And you can build those out as large or as small as you want. And that's the cool part with the customization here that you'll get from these tiles. You can build them out, you know, however big you want them to be, and whatever kind of shape you kind of want them to be as well, for what is possible, for what pieces you have here on. And this one's just green on the back, so you even might get some that are going to be wide open like that. You can even build like kind of wide open areas that would generally be more in the center courtyard of the fortress that you're building. Okay, so that is the Pathfinder Fortress expansion tiles, which is cool. So if you have the first one and then you get this one as well, you're going to have more than enough tiles to create a really, really cool fortress. Okay, so that's that. Now we'll get into the awesome. These are so awesome. These are so awesome. The pawn collection. I've been really excited. You know, I have some of these, but I don't think we've ever done a video on the pawns. Outside of the pawns that you get in some of the starter sets, we did a Starfinder starter set video, and I'm going to do another video on the Pathfinder starter set. That one was going to be held. We were going to do the Pathfinder starter set on the Band of Badgers, but we ended up not doing that just due to a lot of other content that we went through. So I am going to be doing a video on the Pathfinder starter set, which is just as amazing as the Starfinder starter set. So if you are interested in these starter sets with both of these IPs, Starfinder and Pathfinder, you'll definitely be able to find the Starfinder one on my channel already, where I go through everything, and we're going to be doing the Pathfinder 2 here. So let's start. We got each of them here. So let's start with Pathfinder. We were just looking at Pathfinder, so let's go with Pathfinder. This one is from Fists of the Ruby Phoenix. So they're going to make these pawn sets generally specifically for some of the adventure paths that they've come out with, right? Or some of those themed adventures that they've come out with. This one specifically for the Fists of the Ruby Phoenix. However, you'll find here that a lot of these pawns, and it's the same thing. It's kind of got that little folio. Now you're definitely not going to probably keep this. I mean, there's really nothing in here that you need, and once you start popping these out, so you may want to keep it as long as you still have like pawns you haven't popped out. But once you pop all these out, you're really not going to not going to need them. One of the things you may notice right out of here is that these do not come with bases. So, you know, you are going to need to pick up bases for these. There are bases that are included in other pawn sets. Some of them do have bases included, but they actually sell a product. It's right here. It's referred to as the Pathfinder Pawns Base Assortment. So if you are going to get these pawns, definitely pick up a pack of the base. It's a very low cost thing, but you are going to need those bases to put on this. And the reason why they don't, more than likely, the reason why they don't include the bases right here in this packaging is because once you kind of buy a pack of bases, you can just reuse them for any of the pawns that you have. So they would obviously have to charge more for this if they included the bases with every single one of them. And if you bought a number of these pawn sets, you just would have hundreds and hundreds of bases, and there'd be no need to have that many. So pick up yourself a base assortment. You've got all the bases you need, and then use those same bases with any of the pawns that you have. Okay? And the reason is they try to keep the price, the MSRP price, and again, you're always able to get it generally cheaper than the MSRP. They try to keep the MSRP price down on these pretty low, and I think it's pretty fantastic that they can do an MSRP of $19.99 for the amount of awesome artwork and pawns that you are getting in these sets. I mean, they're just beautiful artwork, and you've got about everything you would ever need How many does this have in it? It usually says here how many we've got. It goes all the way up to 90, and a lot of these have 4 of them, 6 of them. So, I mean, you're getting well over 100 that are being included in the set. Let's take a look at some of these, because I mean they're awesome. And again, and I've said in other videos, I'm a big miniature guy. Like I like the ooh, nice. And on some of them here, they even list out the some of the stat here. Oh, that's really cool. So, I'm a big miniatures guy. I like miniatures, but some of these pawns are kind of amazing. And the thing is, if you don't want to drop the money to invest in all the miniatures, or you don't want to go out, like some of these are very specific type of miniature, you don't want to go out and have to get just that miniature, then you can use these pawns. Or maybe you use a collection of miniatures and pawns. You use the miniatures that you have, and for the stuff that you don't have, you use the pawns. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm really starting to take a liking to these pawns because of the high level of artwork and just character feel that you get from looking at this, you know, hand-drawn awesome artwork versus a miniature, right? It's just a little bit of a different experience. And I think it's kind of cool. It's got kind of a, you know, kind of an older school kind of feel as well, where, you know, before the days of having all these miniatures, this is pretty much what everybody had, was just, you know, little cardboard pawns. So it kind of gives you that feel as well. That's really cool. The tick swarm. These are awesome. And again, it's specifically for Ruby Phoenix, but you know, you definitely can use these generically for anything in your campaign. You'll see you've got everything from characters to larger bosses. I mean, there's all the way up to like very large, you know, things that you can put on there, and as well as you know, a lot of times you'll get into situations where it's like, oh, I need 4 of these things or 5 of these things. Well, now it becomes much more cost effective and easy. So again, like if you want to use a mix of miniatures and pawns, maybe you have the miniatures for some of these things, like character level type things, but you don't have the miniatures for this Rivka, or you don't have a miniature for the Senzu, right? So you can just grab this and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these, and all of a sudden, boom, you can just put them out on the board. So I don't know. I just think, yeah, there's even more of them. So I just think this makes it really, really cost effective and really cool to pick up these pawn sets for your collection. I mean, you could literally go out and spend, you know, you could go out and drop $100 and get a number of these pawn sets, and literally for $100, you would have, I mean, you would have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these pawns, like enough to do anything for any campaign you're ever going to run, and you're done forever, right? And these are super thick, high quality. They're not going to rip, fall apart. You can categorize them. You can store them in a. I mean, storing tons of miniatures is like, if you have a lot of miniatures, you know what I'm talking about. Trying to store all these miniatures, it can kind of add up depending on how you're storing them. These can lay flat. They store easily. You can just have one bin of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these, okay? And you're done forever. So just think about that when you think about your pawns. And again, these can be used generically across your RPG campaigns as well, not just for Starfinder and Pathfinder. You can use these for anything you want. Okay, let's get into the Starfinder ones here. This one is specifically from the Tech Revolution collection. We just did a video recently on the Tech Revolution book for Starfinder. If you want to check that out on the channel, you can find that as well here. And here we'll find all of that. I love this set because I love the Tech Revolution. That was one where I said was kind of a must-buy for Starfinder, that particular book, because it had so much of the build-out of everything Starfinder is about. And it also has the mechs and all the new mech stuff, which that's what I was hoping to see, and I'm seeing that now, is the different mechs you can build out. They're here. This is one of the tree mechs, which I thought was a really cool thing. Oh, so awesome. So it's got the mechs. It's going to have, I'm assuming, some of the vehicles as well. Yes, it does. So we got some of the vehicles that are included here. Oh, nice. It's got the full canopy It's kind of like a floating mech. I want to say you can board this thing, so I don't want to say a full city, but it's got that, which is awesome. It's got the big mechanicalized Hellhound and Crypt Behemoth. Oh, this is sick. And these miniatures would be pretty pricey if you can get them. You can get your hands on them. I mean, WizKids in time, right, more than likely will do different miniatures that would fit with this. I mean, I'm not making that claim because I don't know what they're going to come out with, what they're not. All I can say is, in the past, WizKids has made miniatures that go with your Starfinder and Pathfinder environments, so they could potentially do that. But again, those larger miniatures are usually a little more pricey, a little more expensive, or they're rare drops if you buy the bricks, where, you get a set like this and boom, you've got it on the table. Everybody can see the artwork, see exactly what it looks like. And frankly, in my opinion, it's just as good. So that is the new pawn sets that we have. These are absolutely amazing. I love these pawn sets, team. I can't say enough about how awesome these are. Okay, so that's been everything we're going to hit in this video. Hopefully you enjoyed looking kind of the new stuff that you can use from an RPG toolset perspective for GMs. Even if you're a player and you want to pick up some of these pawns to represent various different things that you're doing with your player, $20 and you get hundreds of them. So awesome. Absolutely awesome. If you want to see more of this stuff, hit that like, click the subscribe below to join the team. Keep rolling them crits. This has been the McGuire Review, and we'll see you next time.